Check. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late, and welcome to another Xah talk show. And today is August 17th, 2019. So, good morning, Deckways. Good morning, GNU Bernie. And you guys can hear me now. Good morning, Weibo. So, what is today's topic? Type in the chat, please. Pick a topic, and let's begin. So, guys, pick a topic, and let's begin. Uh, let's see what is this. Okay, so Xah talk show. GNU Bernie Sanders 2028 elite GNU Emacs user. that's that's a, that's a long propaganda name. Uh, Ztron crazy random chat. Okay, let's do random chat. Okay, so it looks like people like that. And which is actually easier to do than, for example, doing a JavaScript tutorial or something, focused. That is actually harder. So random chat. Okay, so but let's talk about. Let me show you. Okay, Emacs completion. Actually, I don't know much about. I mean, I probably don't have much to show you about that. Let me begin the xah start command log mod. So in this window, you can see all my Emacs commands, such as forward word, backward word, up arrow, previous line, next line, and so on. And okay, Emacs completion. So what package do you use for Emacs completion? Okay, so let me talk about Emacs completion, and then let's talk about some random stuff. And if you have any questions, any suggestions, opinions, just post it. Then we can talk about that. Emacs completion. So GNU Bernie. So let us know, like what package do you use? I can explain to you what is my situation with completion. Basically, I do not use any of the completion packages. Uh, let's write out today's topics. Emacs completion. Okay, there are two very popular Emacs completion packages, and those are two most popular popular ones. Okay, one is called autocomplete, and the other one is, anyone know what's the other one? So one is autocomplete, the other one is called well, I don't remember. So what we do is we're gonna go to mailpath list packages. So call list packages, the command list packages. Okay, yeah, company, you are right, thank you. So the other very popular completion package is company, which is silly name. It stands for like complete any, but it names, so it's company. So anyway, so there are two completion very popular completion packages. These are at least 10 years old, something like that, both of them. Now the autocomplete is there first. It's written by a Japanese guy, in Japan. But then people start to contribute, and it seems like people noticed a problem is that it's hard to extend. Therefore, this guy created a fork. I think originally it was a fork. So he created the company mod, which is, I think, more popular today. Hey, good morning, G. Good morning, Green Deck. Good morning, Bartholomew. Great to see you guys. So there are two. So we're gonna talk about random topic, but first thing we're gonna talk a little bit about Emacs completion. Uh, so GNU Bunny, if you have specific questions, like type it, okay? Because because I don't know if you have specific questions, or like what programming language are you coding? Are you needing completion for a particular language, or you are just interested in my general view, like what do I do? The more information, the better. I can talk about things. Gets more interesting. So right now I'm just talking generally about my completions in Emacs. So you have autocomplete by a Japanese, which is there first. Then you have company mod, which is I think originally a fork. Then company mod, I don't use them because, well, I guess you can say for two reasons. One reason, the first reason is that they are kind of a hack. Let's install company mod. Okay, let's see. You see, because I don't use any. I use very few packages. So let's go to my Emacs directory .emacs.d alpha. Go into the directory. So comp. So I don't have it installed. This is all the packages I use. I don't use async. I don't use stash. I despise this wrapper to emacs dash. And they become popular because they provide a wrapper to Lisp functions, so that for any beginner, or not very experienced Lisp programmers, you can just use this dash. There's a bunch of others, F dash, and they are basically wrappers to the Emacs Lisp language, such that for example, dash is for dealing with all lists. I think list data type. Let's see. So dash by this guy, yeah, okay. Well, this good guy, and dash is for, yeah, list API. So you see in Emacs Lisp is a old language, and I'm gonna answer the questions. Okay. So Emacs Lisp is a old language, and the dev, the Emacs Lisp dev team has problems, has lots of issues. The communication, the mentality, the code problem. So they don't change. They don't fix things quickly. It's almost impossible to do so. And every time you contribute, you have to sign papers. It's very controversial. So it's like sluggish. It doesn't move. Then Mailpad came along, so everyone just you know push to Mailpad. So Mailpad has like tens of thousands packages. And one of the issue with Emacs Lisp is that it doesn't grow, and it's very hard to get anything to talk to the developers, because there's political fight, there's different personalities. There's some of the old dev have strong attitude. They don't. It's rather a problem compared to open source dev in general. So Emacs it has been stagnating for like 20, 30 years. Very once a while, every 5 years, you have maybe one change. So Emacs, when you want to manipulate list, for example, in Python you have arrays, JavaScript arrays or list. You have a bunch of functions, right? And for OOP languages such as Ruby or Python, you have a hash table or dictionary. Then you have all the methods that manipulate the hash table. Like the dot notation. You have a hash table or array. Then you dot. Then whatever you have a set of all functions that can work on the list. Not so with Emacs. I mean, the point I'm saying is that all the functions that work on list, you can see them. It's all there. It's easy to see also in documentation. But Emacs is more of a functional language. But still, you should be able to have all the list of functions that work on list. And they should all have consistent interface. For example, the first argument should be the list you want to change. The second argument, like the items to remove or things like that. But however, Emacs Lisp, the functions that works on lists are not consistent. That's one problem. But also, they are scattered all over the emacs documentation. It's like some, like emacs documentation is also a old, is 30 years old. The structure haven't been changed. Have the structure organization of emacs manual has not been changed for like 30 years, something like that. Here's the emacs documentation. So if you, for example, if you are a Lisp programmer, Emacs Lisp, you want to work, you need functions that work on list. There is no way to find, one page that lists all the list functions. Instead, they are scattered in. Okay, here you have list, concepts, list related predicates, list. It's not just here. There are also list functions in other pages. You have to uh, you have to go. So there's no coherent. So to beginner list emacs list programmers, it's a problem. It's hard. Therefore, these people created this. For example, this guy created this dash. There are so many things I don't like it about it. So many aspect and mentality. First of all, notice the name dash. It's a peg name. It doesn't indicate anything about list. It doesn't say list manipulation function. So at least you have to. Anyway, that's naming. That's one thing. Okay, dash. Like it's like popular, fashionable. The dash. And okay, so what does this package do? Basically it's basically like a wrapper. So it's like an API. So it provides a consistent. You have all these functions that work on list, and they have all unified kind of consistent interface. Like which argument goes where, and they are basically wrappers to the Emacs list functions. So this is, for beginner programmers, this is actually fantastic. I suppose it's very practical. Because uh, so there are many issues. You see, because, well, yeah, it's practical, but notice, first of all, you should what really should happen is we should get Lisp, Emacs Lisp, the language to grow. To if there's a problem, fix it there, not adding a wrapper. Then there are also other issues. You see, another issue is, for example, this is an example where how the Emacs GNU dev, they have problems. They don't, they don't admit. Like every time you talk to Emacs people, fanatics, they say, oh, you are a troll. They don't agree. Oh, I think Emacs, dev is great. It's the most wonderful, polite, helpful place. People say that. You go to Reddit, you hear people say that all the time. And when you say something they disagree, they you get banned, or you get voted down, nobody see your messages, or things like that. This is the happens in almost every programming language. They are. Anyway, so you first of all, you should actually, it indicates several problems. One is that elisp is not growing. It's very bad. This means elisp is very bad. But when you talk to the Emacs fanatics, they say, oh, Emacs Lisp is the greatest language. This package, the existence and the popularity. This is one of the most popular package on Alpa, the top five. Okay, with tens of thousands or 100,000 downloads, and lots of packages require this dash. Okay, this dash package. So this, we can see that this indicates several problems. One is that Lisp language, Emacs Lisp, for list manipulation is pretty lousy. There's a problem. We need to fix that. It also indicates that the GNU dev's got problems. They got, as a organization that work on Emacs, they've got problems, because otherwise this guy can simply say, hey, I got this package, can we, you don't need this package, because you can dedicate your effort to just, we will have the much improved Emacs Lisp, language. And also, this indicates the Emacs manual problem. Emacs manual, when you talk to people, they say, oh, this is the greatest writing and so on. Crap. It's got lots of problems. So that's, so dev problem, Emacs list problem, Emacs manual problem, and also political problem. Because notice this is on ALPA, on Melpa, which is entirely outside of the GNU, organization, Free Software Foundation. It's entirely different organization. And so why is Melpa so popular? Meanwhile, the GNU's ALPA, they also have a repository from Free Software Foundation. Why is ALPA? ALPA has maybe 5,000 packages, but on Melpa you have 100,000 packages. Why is that? Because in order to contribute to have your package on the GNU ALPA server, you need to sign a agreement. Basically, it says, from this day on, the copyright belongs to you. That's you have to do that. And a few years ago, it needs to be done in written form, like mail. But today you can do it digitally. But I have signed Ergo Emacs. I have went through the process. It's very unpleasant, and so lots of problems. Okay, and also, as many programmers, we programmers, especially Lisp programmers, we have a kind of a thing for elegance of the programming language. That is why lots of us, like Lisp. But this also indicates a problem with the well, should I say that? I don't know. I forgot what's the point I'm trying to say. So anyways, so there is this dash. Okay, let's go to Melpa. Let's show something. Well, I got 14 people watching Melpa. So dash is one of them. Oh yeah, wrapper. Okay, I remember what I want to say. You see, so this is actually a wrapper. It does, it adds some functionalities, but mostly, like 80%, it's a wrapper to the Emacs Lisp, functions. So it's inefficient. It's inefficient. You when you program a language, you don't work over through a wrapper. It's like JavaScript. You code TypeScript, which is a wrapper to JavaScript because it provides types. Then you compare to JavaScript. That's not a good thing. You rather work directly. So there are these aspects I don't like it, and also this package is not following the GNU Emacs Lisp programming convention. For example, you have look at these names. Okay, this function names start with a dash. Okay, let me show the list matching line is different. Okay, so okay, I know why why it's called dash, because every function name begins with a dash. That I don't like either, because that's it's a tactic. It's kind of the low devious means to capture popularity. Because by using a dash, so it's extremely easy to notice and to use this package, because everything just start. But however, to the whole wider community of Lisp, this is no good, because you are making something standing out for yourself. Then tomorrow I'm gonna start a package that every function name start with a dot. It's even easier than your dash. You see. But if I do, that's not good, because then everyone, every Joe start, hey, I'm going to create a package so I become famous, and I'm going to use the tactics. So all my function names start with a dot. Everyone start to do their things. That's no good. And GNU Emacs Lisp convention, they have, if you read the Emacs manual, there's a section about convention. You don't do this. This is not allowed. You are not supposed to. You're supposed to start a function name with a dash. That is just your tactic. Your kind of method to get your package. For yourself. So, but when you look at the Emacs community, every day they are like, oh, helping each other and so good. They call me a troll because I criticize all the time. but you never hear people criticize anything about the dash. It's like it's like it's all a phony. These people. What? So what the people are like that. Uh, you know, but what you have to do, so this guy, I haven't seen him done. By the he's a great guy. I think he's also the guy who started the Emacs rocks, which is a great, very funny, very well done Emacs tutorial, Emacs rocks, and very well prepared. Each video is only like 5 minutes, but it's dense with information and also funny and useful. Let's see Emacs rocks. So I'm digressing a lot, but anyway, but today we are like random topic, right? So there it is, Emacs rocks. So you have to where's his video? Okay, there is a video. So this is very popular and very good. So I do recommend it. But I think it is him, right? Does anyone know is that's him, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Magna Svin from Northern Europe, Scandinavia, I think, right? So all these problems, that's so therefore I don't like it. And now, like every package you install, almost all require dash. This is again no good. This is like you learn Lisp, you just use the core functions. You have you so anyway, so yeah, so anyway, so that's about dash. So okay, I was saying I don't use much packages. Dash was required. This async, dash, git commit, they are all required by Magic. Magic is the one I use. So Magic requires all that. And I use GoMod, which is for Go language. Then key frequency is great because, let's see, let me show you. Key frequency show. Now this records this is a log of all the commands I called in Emacs. I mean, this must be several months old. So you can see I called the previous line, 200,000 times. So this is good for when you want to find out which key binding you use most often. Then you can create a easier key binding, or if you are designing key binding like I am for stuff like keys. So this is good to use. So this is key frequency mod. So that's that. And okay, and Smex is great. This is a replacement for MX, like MetaX. I can press MetaX. You have very nice completions, and you also have it remembers which command you call the most. So when you type, for example, if I type T, it will list all the commands that contains the word T, but ordered in the way that the one I use most often will come on top. So that's Smex, which is a replacement for MetaX. And that's it. So I use Smex, Magic, key frequency, GoMod. That's the only 4 packages outside other people's packages I use. All the rest there you see are the kind of requirements, dependencies. I don't really like when you install a package. I don't like those that install dependencies. Like in a Java land, in a JavaScript land, npm, when you install a package, it installs 100 others, literally. Like you need a package, you install it, and it has like 10 dependencies. Each one has 10 more dependencies. So I've seen, this is true. When you install one package, literally, you might end up with 100 just for that one package. Then you need other packages. My God, JavaScript. So Emacs is, Emacs is kind, I wouldn't say, but it maybe it's going in that direction. I don't, that's no good, because then, well, part of the reason is, as society, we advance technology and more programmers, people has less time. You have less and less, really programmers, who knows a lot. So a lot of programmers, you just pull libraries. So it's kind of like a bloat. You don't know what you're doing. You just know, okay, this website tells me to do this, then I can do, I can do what I want. So to do this, you just type this, download this library, that library download 10 100 others. That's what happens today. Um, so that's about the packages I use. Now I was going to install company mod, and let me explain so why I don't like it. Well, I think it's good package. Okay, I mean, when I talk about things, like many of these are just my own opinions. Like, you don't have to follow. I'm just giving you my opinions, but these are good packages. Dash, I'm pretty sure it's very well written, yeah, and good. Um, so I'm going to install company mod. So list packages. Okay, I call list packages. Then search for COMPA company mod, COMPAN. Okay, there it is. Okay, company mod modular text completion framework. Okay, let's see what it is. Okay, and let's install it. Install. What? Bad request. What the fuck? Ah, fuck. You see the GNU again, because this is from GNU. They always have problems. You should install from the mailpath. What's the error? It says like network problem something. You know. Huh. So okay, here's company mod. Let's try it again. Install. Let's just install it. Okay, so it's installed. By the way, it says company is an available obsolete package. Lots of mailpub packages says that. Does anyone know why? What does it mean? Like, is a available obsolete package? Does anyone know? Let's search for it. Org is an available obsolete package. Yeah. What the what the It's been, I've seen this for years. I don't know what it. Does anyone know? So okay, so I just installed company mod. Close it, close it, close it, close it. Okay, let's start a new buffer and switch to xah-elisp-mode. Then let's say define. Okay, let's say define. Oh, do I have to turn company mod on? Uh, anyway, I use my own completion. Like, for example, I press. For example, I want to define. I press D. I press enter. There's define, and I press enter or space again. Then it is there. It is. I don't use company mod. Set a variable. I type S space set Q. That's what I want. Space. I got the thing. And same thing with JavaScript. Switch to JavaScript mod. And so JavaScript, let's say C is for constant. You see, C space. Okay, that's good. That's what I want. And L space. I have let, and array prototype. Something. Okay, for each. Okay. Okay, there it is. You see, that's the completion based on abbrev, and based on uh, based on abbrev, basically. So I this is okay. So let me show you. So this is xah-JavaScript-mode. Okay, I'm gonna uh, talk about the stuff. Okay, so and I have xah-elisp-mode. Then I have xah-html-mode, and then I have xah-css-mode. Okay, let me demo CSS-mode for a bit. Okay, so for example, let's go split the window, go to the top. There is a CSS file. Open it, so you can see it's in my CSS mod. Go to the top. Go to the top and enter. What? Something is wrong there. I need to find out. Anyway, so I want to say, let's say dive. Okay, dive and that, and let's say display. I press D space display. That's what I want. Space. Okay, then inline break. Okay, or I can say table and stuff. Let's say M space margin. Okay, C space color space red. Okay, that's what I want. So this is my kind of my home cooked abbreviation completion system. Okay, now, but all these are my own mods. But if you don't want to use them, because you already have some other solutions that's better for you. So if you don't use them, you can also easily, trivially create your own abbrev system, just like the example I've demonstrated. You can do it trivially. Let's go to my Emacs blog. So if you just go to my Emacs website, practical Emacs, then you go to buffer topics, Emacs find replace, copy paste topic, undo topic, Unicode topic, font, white space, rectangle, shell. There's there's an editing topic. Anyway, just search for abbrev, ABBR. Okay, so no, wait, ABBR. Okay, Emacs efficiency topic at the bottom. So abbrev mod. So in this page, I show you it's easy, very easy. Okay, in 5 minutes you can set up any abbrev, just like what I demonstrated. Just like that. What? Wait. Okay, so yeah, so just like for example, S space space. You see, M for messages, space, message, that's a function, right? That's to print something, space, then you have that. And the brief letter is based on how frequent that function is used. So the most frequent completion function name has the one single letter, such as message. Like when you code elisp, you want to print all the time, to see what's going on. And define function, D for define, is also very popular. So if let me show you the code. Okay, so here's the code. Let's search for abbrev. Okay, let me go to the abbrev section. Where? So let's go there. There it is. So you see this list. Let's go to the top of the list. Okay. So there you see define abbrev table. It's C for concact. Let's try it. C space C for concact space. You see, concact string. D for define, F for format, I for insert. So here is my abbrev. I explained in this file how to do that. You can do it without needing to create a new mod. You just copy this, put in your init file, and that'll be it. And also, several months ago, I have a video tutorial on Emacs abbrev. So you can try that. So hold on a second. So I'm going to read the comments. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of these. So that is about a brief. That is about my own completion system. And for example, I code Golang. So new buffer, switch to Golang. Oh, I don't have my own Golang mod. So I call metax go mod. Okay, so this is someone else's mod. Okay, but now I want abbreviation. I need to start to code Golang. I need abbreviation. So what I do, I type G3, okay, space. Oh, okay, wait. G space. Oh, okay, that's wrong. GO space. There it is. You see, I have a Go templates now. Let's save it. xx.go. Okay, let's run it. Okay, now the answer is 33, which is correct. You see, so I can start to code Golang now. Now suppose I need to define a function. So a function is f space. I got a function template. You see, but this is not my own mod. So how did I do it? Abbrev. Let's go bookmark to my abbrev file. Okay, so abbrev. So here is my abbrev file. So 600 lines, and you can see Golang part is here. You see, and the advantage here is that at any time, like right now, I'm coding Golang. I can type R for return. That's right. Okay, so I can P for print. You see, uh, P space is for print. Now suppose there's something I need. Let's say main. Okay, let's say I need this. I need a shortcut for main. I don't have it, and it so happens I find I need it often, so I can define it right away. For example, let me show you. So I want a brief that expand to this. Okay, I want M to become this. So I just go open my brief file through big bookmark. Then I just type okay, here paste. Oh wait, I copy that, duplicate M, and this part will be whatever is the abbrev I want. So the abbrev I want is, let's say that. Okay, so I paste it here. You see that line. Okay, it's good. Now load eval buffer the whole file. It's done. I go back here and enter. You see, now it's so convenient. And enter. Now you see it's super powerful. Okay, now delete the file. I don't need that. Eval the buffer, close it, and emacs-lisp, close it. Don't save, close it. Okay, so there's another JavaScript one. Okay, so okay, that's about abbreviation. Um, and so this is okay. So this is what I do for completion and abbreviation. I basically just rely on abbreviation. Whenever I need something completion, I just add it right away. Like today, add it right away. After a while, I look at my abbrev file. A lot of them I don't use anymore. I remove them. Now let's see. Let's try company mod. Okay, metax. Wait. Hold on. Let's go to open a new buffer. Metax emacs-lisp-mode. Okay. Now this is in emacs-lisp-mode. Let's do defun. Okay. def tab. Okay, so let's turn on company mod. Metax company dash mod. Okay, it says enabled. Now def, let's try again. Def. Oh, there it is. You don't even have to press any key. Okay, so dfu. Well, dfunt. Why doesn't have it? Why doesn't have defun? that's my complaints whenever I def you why doesn't it have defun? What's the problem? Okay, so but before I explain the problem, I don't know what is the problem. What is the problem? So and I mean about the no the company mod. So df. Okay, let me talk about some of the issues with company mod. Let's see. Okay, so def. You see, so now it pops up this thing. This widget, the pop-up window. You know how that is implemented? That is a hack. That is one of the biggest hack. You know why this happened. You know why? DEF. Okay, because Emacs does not have a framework or API that does this widget textual widget pops up. There's no such framework. Instead, so how they do this? They do it by Emacs has this um, I'm pretty sure about this, okay, but don't take my word for it. So I'm pretty sure this is implemented by. Let me show you how it is. It's a hack. It's a giant, huge hack. Okay, and this is why in the other days with the autocomplete mod, sometimes it crashes Emacs. Like when you have this pop up, it crash Emacs. Um, so how is that done? If you go to practical emac lisp, wait, go to write major mod and go to the bottom. Okay, go here's how to write a major mod. Then look at overlay highlighting. This is how it is done. It is using the mechanism of overlay. Okay, I'm not in a position to explain the details, like because I have to look at. I don't know. I haven't looked into, but that's. I believe I looked at it just a little bit, several years ago, and I kind of got confirmation. It's a hack because Emacs does not have a framework or API or a system to do these pop-ups. So instead, so basically, this is done by, you just go to a position and display a text there. So you do it, each one of these. You go to a position, display a text, and you write wrappers, functions that eventually becomes higher level. But it's not, as far as I know, okay, it's not a proper system. But also, what is a proper system? Let me show you what is a proper system. Control meta I. You see that mini buffer? This is the proper system for Emacs completion. Okay. Now, if the company mod is actually done with this, then I like. Okay, I accept. I approve. This is the proper way for completion to work. You might say, oh, but it's not convenient because it is at the bottom. That is true. So if you want to fix that, talk to the GNU Emacs dev, get them to fix this framework. That is the proper. This is a proper mechanism, proper framework for completion. But this, although it's convenient, it's a hack. I know because I look underneath. But to most people, you just look at things. You don't think about what's actually working, how it works underneath. Um, okay, with that said, company mod, I guess it works. It's convenient. Um, yeah, for me, I don't use it because I don't like this idea, this hack, and I don't like this tiny window. I rather prefer. Let me tell you why I prefer this full completion. Okay, you see that Now that is the traditional Emacs way. Everything is text and you have power. Let me explain. So I want all the commands starting with def. Now I can switch buffer, switch to completion. You see there's a buffer that then you see now I got the whole thing. I can copy it, I can open a new buffer, paste it, I can start to manipulate it. For example, let me show you this command. Meta x space to new line. Okay, that's not what we want, but anyway, okay, anyway, show white space. So what are these? Okay, these are tabs. So replace replace tab by return new line. Okay, replace all. That's what I like. I have a list. I can manipulate it. I can reorder it. I can. Okay, let's do this. Select all. Sort. Oh wait, hold on. I pressed the wrong key. Sort. You see, I got them sorted. Then remove that crap. Then I can do lots of things. This is the power of Emacs, the traditional way. It's the same reason many people like org-mod, because everything is text where you can manipulate instead of little input boxes. You have to mouse click to this to focus on this input box or that, things like that. Oh, also, another thing important to mention is the yasnippet mod. That's also no good. Okay, just use abbrev. Abbrev can do anything, everything. Why is no good? Yasnippet mod is like 10 years old. It began in 2008 also. And in the beginning I like it very much because you don't have to know Lisp. You can define your abbrev templates by writing a file, and so that's very powerful. You don't require people to know Lisp to create templates, and why snippet. But since I learned abbrev, since I started to actually learn the Emacs Lisp's default core abbrev system, I don't need I don't need yasnippet, which is very very complicated. You look at their code, like 10,000 20,000 lines, very just like that company, with that pop-up that's very complicated underneath. It's like let me show you this. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, not keyboards, language mod, Linux. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, comp-lamp proving hacker code. There's a thing I want to show you. Okay, this one. Coding while learning at college is like that. Coding for a project in real job, it's like that. But there's one more thing. Let me show you this. This. Okay. You see that? Let me magnify. Okay. So anyway, so you see what I deal with. What I deal with as a web dev on a daily basis, portrayed as a house. So client, can you fix this bug for me? It shows a beautiful house. And no problem. Let me take a look at the code. then inside the house, it's like garbage. Piles of garbage. That is what it is like. For that company mod and yasnippet. Underneath it's like crap. So I don't like hack. I don't need this little pop-up, special pop-up. And also with yasnippet, you have these places like let me show you an example. Okay, yasnippet. So new buffer, xah-elisp-mode, define, enter, enter. Okay, enter, enter. Then you get that. Okay, so when you have a function, usually you have x, y, z, right? Well, okay, in this you don't need a comma. So you have many arguments to a function. When you use yasnippet, it for example, format. Okay, format is one of the command that has several options. When you use yasnippet, it has these so-called stops. Like you press tab to put, then the cursor is placed here. And meanwhile, you cannot do anything. You cannot move cursor freely. You cannot, move by word. You cannot do anything. You are fixed, for a period of time. The only key you can press is tab. You press the tab again, your cursor moves to the next position. That it's like a straight jacket. You cannot move. You can only do this thing at one time. That's why a snippet. So I don't like that. I prefer, just type the whole thing. I can, I have powerful, cursor movements. I can go to anywhere I want. I don't want you to limit me to these positions. So that's about the YA snippet. So let's see where am I? So let's go back to the so this is okay. So that was my close that, close that, close that, no save. Okay, so let's back. So YA snippet. Let's mention that. I'm gonna after this, then I'm gonna read the comments. Don't like autocomplete because the pop-up is a hack. It is based on it is based on the overlay. Overlay is a mechanism to place a text anywhere in the buffer. Yeah, so that is what. So if you read this page, you'll find. Yeah, let me post a link. If you read that page, you can easily understand what overlay is about. Okay, so the purpose of overlays allows you to place. It's like a sticker. Like a stick notes. It's almost like a stick it notes. You can stick it you can place it anywhere. It's kind of like that. So that is how that company mod is done. Wait, so if it uses the mini buffer, then I would like it much better. Okay, that's about the company mod. Now, YA snippet. I don't think it is necessary once you learn about abbrev. Okay, once you know about Emacs default abbrev mechanism. And I don't like YA snippet because it almost always has these stops, that limits free cursor movements. And like when I press something, I want to see the whole template so I can think about what I want to write. I don't want to only see part of it. And so that's. But by the way, many of these can be configured, but the thing is you have to spend time. Then you have to configure YA snippet. But in fact, you don't need it. There's Emacs abbrev, which is the fastest. Emacs abbrev, the actual mechanism how it works. For example, right now I type U space, it's U, YOU. So UR space is YOUR. I have lots of abbreves. So this mechanism is actually written in C. So like you cannot remove it. So it's this abbrev mechanism is actually very core fundamental to Emacs Lisp. So it's very fast, and you can have thousands. I have thousands of abbreves. Okay, so that is about completion. That's my opinions about completions in Emacs. Okay, so let me take a drink and let's read the comments. Well, okay, so there are many ways to stop a brief if you want to if you do not want it to complete. For example, UL. I mean, actually, actually, you should read my tutorial. Okay, I have like a huge. Let me show you. Let me show you. Okay, so practical Emacs, ABBRE, abbrev mod. So let me post the link. Yeah, so I would recommend just read my tutorial because because okay, so Emacs has actually over 10 commands dealing with abbrev. So you have a command to add abbrev interactively. You don't like the way I do it is actually I open my abbrev file. This is Lisp code, and actually I just add modify this code. For example, UL. Okay, UL is here. If I don't want it, I delete it. Eval, and it's gone. Now if I type UL, nothing happens. So this is my personal way to edit or manipulate a brief, but this is not the normal. This is just my way. Now, by Emacs tradition, you have like over 10 commands to deal with a brief. I show it here. Okay, so I explain here. You go to this page. If you follow this page, then this is the Emacs supposedly traditional way to deal with a brief. So you have like 10 commands. Actually, it's rather confusing, and many of these commands you don't need. So it's confusing to me, and I don't find it as good. So I don't do it that way. So, but anyway, the point is you have like over 10 commands. If you don't want to complete, you can call the command first, then type. Something like that. And actually, it's less efficient that way. If you, for example, if I don't want the URL to expand, I just type T. Then something, then delete the T. Actually, that's faster. You might think, oh, that's complicated, but it's actually faster. I mean, the alternative is URL. So you call a command. Let's see. Abbrev, they are like you see there are so many abbrev commands. There's one of them that kind of tell it to stop or something. Oh, another way you can just press Control Q. Okay, like Control Q. Okay, now I type something. It doesn't. You see, it doesn't expand. You see. Oh, wait. Let's see. You are space. Okay, you are okay. Now you are Control Q space. You see, that's how. So you can press Control Q. That's one of the way. Control Q is a general mechanism to make whatever character you type next literal. You know. Anyway, that's so that's about a brief. Okay. So close my brief file. So let's make that and okay. So anyway, so let me read the comments then. So many. Dude, your bookshelf is standing tired. My bookshelf in the background? That's very old. That's 度假 Telegram. How are you? So let me read the comments. Okay, so let's see. Hi. Please, okay. Iris, are you still there? Answer. Okay. Iris and hi Justin. So Iris says, "Sir, please answer this question." I actually select all, copy, shrink, and it's actually easier if I just read them here. So Iris says, "Please answer the question. I use Xah keys and I love it, but when I switch windows or frame, it is hard to see if I'm in insert or command mode. Why? When you switch windows or frames, are you still there, Irish? Irish. Okay, so 1 hour. Okay, so I talked a lot, and so is Irish says when you switch windows or frame, it's hard to see if I'm in insert mode. Why? Because for example, for me, when I'm in command mode, the cursor is always a square, like right now. When I'm in insert mode, the cursor is a bin, I bin. So even if I switch window, you know, I can just look at the cursor. Right now it's rectangle, so it's command mode. Switch cursor, it doesn't change unless I switch to insert mode. So I don't see why that happens to you. Check. Okay. So okay, questions. Type it. Okay. So Iris says, I mean, change color and shape every time there is a frame or window switch. It shouldn't. I don't. You should tell me what's the problem. It doesn't seem to happen. Matthew Sosa, greetings. Hey, from Brazil. Matthew, Brazil, great. Bartholomew, hey Bartholomew, are the people responsible for Lisp quite elitism? Uh, well, it's hard to, I don't want to call them elitism because that has many meanings. Like depending on what do you think, what faction you are. To some people that thinks one thing. Other people. I don't. It's not. I wouldn't. It's not the elitism that I don't like. Rather, it's just not working. Okay, it's lots of. It's mostly code. I would say, if you ask my opinion, it's code. Part of the problem is the free software foundation. The ideology. So yeah, let's not get into that. So anyway, so that reminds me of the equally named cryptocurrency, which is absolute trash. Oh, okay. So Bernie Sanders, oh well, GNU Bernie says the Ellipse starter manual is a slow and repetitive to read. Exactly, it's like if you print it out, it's 900 pages, okay, and it's repetitious. It's like you read. Oh my God, it's and the thing the reason it's like that is because it's written in the 1980s. Okay, you know like today you don't even have the word manual anymore. People like don't say manual. A phone, any device, they don't come with a manual anymore. 1980s, everything has a manual. User's manual. And it tends to be elaborate. Chapter, the introduction. Chapter 1, chapter 2. Manual. Even TV has users operate. So-called operators manual. Let me show you. Okay, some of the history of keyboards. All these terminals and stuff, they have users manuals or operators manuals, and or and you also have maintenance manuals. And Microsoft Word has manuals. Microsoft Word manuals, 2 volumes. Back in 1990s, beginning in 2000. Early 2000, 2003. Okay, manual stops. They don't. First of all, they don't print it anymore. It's just digital. Online. Then even online manual stops. Oftentimes you don't have a manual. Just like when you get an iPhone, just use it. You don't know. you know. So Emacs manual is from 1980s, and you got this elaborate, so it's so bad. Okay. By the way, let's not confuse. There are two things. There is the Emacs manual, and there is the Emacs Lisp manual. Okay, I was talking about Emacs Lisp manual. If you want to code Lisp, it is necessary that you have to read it. Okay, inescapable. There's no alternative. If you really want to be expert of Emacs Lisp, for beginners, you can try my tutorial. Okay, let me, yeah. Uh, so my tutorial is pretty good for intro, as I say, of course. So if for to get you begin with, it's pretty good. It's and rather complete. You will find nowhere else, online or printed. That's I'm like 10 times more complete. Yeah. So it's good. But if beyond my introduction, you started to code, writing a mod, writing a major mod, writing some thing. You actually have to read Emacs Lisp manual. Okay. Now that's about Emacs Lisp manual. 900 pages. The Emacs manual is also huge. 800 pages. Let me show you. Actually, I have it here. Go to my directory, up directory. Oops, I don't want to go. It's here. Okay, Emacs manual. This here is the elisp manual. Open it. Go down. 945. About 945 pages. HTML pages. 940. The Emacs manual go to 740 pages. Okay, Emacs manual is worse than the elisp manual because elisp manual actually they contain technical details you actually need to know. On the other hand, the Emacs manual, fuck the Emacs people. They copy and paste. They spend pages to tell you what is the concept of copy, the concept of copying text, the concept of pasting text, and so on for text replacement, anything. Uh, and you see why do I swear at them? Because these Emacs fanatics, when you talk to them, this Emacs dev or what, many of them are good people, okay, of course. But when you talk to them, like they it's just they nobody criticize it. If you dare to say a little bit rough about criticize, nobody like you, they ban you, they vote you down on Reddit, for example. Fuck these people. It is this kind of situation that brings the technology, the community, that destroys it. Okay. Oh my God, Emacs manual. Shall we actually try to read a few pages? Actually, I have a HTMLized version. All this is built in the Emacs editor. Like you can read. Here's a Emacs manual. But I have like predefined HTML version. I did. So look at this one, random. Okay, chapter 7.5 files. Okay, text that you insert in an Emacs buffer lasts only as long as, as the Emacs session. To keep any text permanently, you must put it in a file. Fuck, go fuck yourself. This is the result of Emacs fanatism. They telling you what a file is. And every time on Reddit, every day, every month, okay, every month, people will say, "Oh, please read the fucking manual. Please read the manual." They tell you to read manual, but when you read manual, when you spend your time, like it spends chapters telling you about copy and what is the concept of copy, what is the concept of file. Do you think that's a good thing? Huh. Emacs, Emacs. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to read the comments. Okay, so Emacs manual. Let's close it. close it, close it, close it. I always close my buffers. Like unlike most people who tends to leave everything, like often it's a case, it's very common where you will have hundreds of buffers if you go to the list buffers. I don't do that. I don't like that. I always clean. Everything is like functional, clean, done, gone. So I have one key to close buffer. You see, I press one key, close buffer. Okay, reopen last closed. Yeah, I want to close that one key. You see. On the other hand, if you in Emacs you call the command kill buffer, it asks you, do you actually really want to say, do you want to kill the buffer even though it's already saved? Okay, do you really want to? Please say yes or no. That okay, let me tell you, that is why the reason people have a lot of buffers open is actually induced by the emacs command kill buffer, which actually prompt you redundantly. Because it's not annoying when you kill a buffer. Then like control xk. Okay, let's see if I still remember that correctly. Control xk. Oh yeah, yeah. Control xk. Control xk. Kill buffer. Then do you really want to kill this buffer? Yes or no? That's redundant typing. This is why when you use a tool, the way the tool is built, the tool is designed, and every detail, it actually induces a certain workflow. So it is my opinion. Okay, I had this opinion for long, 10 years ago. The reason, sometimes you go to Emacs community, they will brag, like, oh look, I have 300 buffers open, like wow, like the Linux, the uptime, like look, 300 files open. That is actually induced by the kill buffer. It's cumbersome keystroke and redundant prompting for confirmation. So because of that, then you stop to using kill buffer. You use the quit instead. There's a bury buffer. I think it's bury buffer. Yeah. Let's see what's the key. Oh, that doesn't have a key. But usually in many mods you can type Q, which just bury, like hide it. So when you do this, then you accumulate buffers. Like some buffers you opened like month, last month, it's still there. You don't need it anymore, but it's still open. Oh, Bartholomew, you contributed a file. Great, good for you. So what did you? Which one is it? Uh, okay, so guys, don't use the swear words. Okay, I try to avoid it because Google, when you Google see that, they don't like it. Google these days are banning accounts, and due to comments, they don't care if it's you or your followers, making the comments. So, so I'll try to avoid that. So Bernie says, GNU. So did I miss anything? So GNU Bernie says, Free Software Foundation gets arrogant with his criticism. Yeah. Yeah, and, I don't want to criticize, but every time I do it often, so often that I guess it's useless to me for me to shy away anymore because every other episode I criticize about open source. Richard Stallman, he's got problems. Like 10 years ago, I just criticized the Emacs manual. 10 years ago, I wrote to him private mail. I think it's got problems. I politely, everything is very nice and politely and positive. So-called constructive. So maybe I can I can help create a rewrite the manual, so that you can reduce the size, by even half, because people don't know what is, people don't know what many of these basic things. There are many Emacs specific things, like mark, mx, minibuffer. You still know to that, but yeah, but there's a lot of redundancy. You can actually reduce verbosity by half at least. So I write to him, and he's you know what he said? He said, yeah, great idea. Why don't you email your changes to me? To him. Then we'll go from there. That's very typical of his. That's what he tells people. So what? So I spend my life. I'm going to spend a month to improve. To work this thing out, send it to him for his approval. If he doesn't like it, what can you do? Then my 1 month effort is gone. That's GNU. That's what happens. Um, you know. Anyway, so Battlemere says one of the most important achievements from a marketing manager's perspective is to make your product recognizable. So Emacs dash it is. From their perspective, a good move. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not. That's a selfish tactic. That's kind of a selfish, you know, not not critical, but it's kind of like that. And when you have so many, behaviors or things like that, it's just no good. You can see it's no good. Justin says it should be like dash filter, not filter. Okay, let me. By the way, yeah, dash. Yeah, that would be better name. Let me mention. Okay, okay. Here's another thing about the mail part. You see, so once you see dash becomes very popular, okay, then the GNU Emacs people, the dev, okay, they began, they started to fix the Emacs Lisp function problem. So today you do have some kind of coherent list of functions, okay. This is one of the very interesting and critical social phenomenon, because this is a social phenomenon. I mean, the phenomenon is this. Okay, so suppose you have a product, Emacs or whatever. Okay, so I saw the product and I make suggestions. Okay, you don't, and the suggestions I make, you don't care. You may not care. Who cares your suggestion? Anyone has suggestions, but once once you take the effort to create your own version, that becomes competitive to them and successful, then they pay attention. This is similar to, every country they say war and stuff. I mean, they say peace. We want peace. No, you don't get that. The only way you win respect is when you have nuclear weapon. Okay, that is like the fundamental truth. And in the same thing in society, the the only way you get respect is when you are rich, when you are powerful and rich. Everything is like, you can be a philosopher, you can talk all the great philosophy. Nobody, practically speaking, very few people, it's not very impactful. It becomes super, everyone pays attention when you actually become a power. That is the thing. So similarly, situation happened here. You see, when if you suggest to Emacs people, oh, I think list functions needs, this one, you're missing that one. They don't care. My bug, I have reported like tens of bugs to Emacs, GNU Emacs. They sit there for 10 years. After 10 years, I got a reply. After 10 years, then it says, thank you, a form reply, and something, fuck them, after 10 years. And not just one, well, not this is just not one time only. It happens several times. In fact, 2 weeks ago, right now, it's in my email. I don't want to show it. One of my Emacs bug report that's 10 years old came up again. Then people are discussing. Why does it come up? I know because I started to do videos. Talking about Emacs. These some people start to watch it. Then I know this because I can see. Some people start to link to my website. Some articles and so anyway. So I got an email, my 10 years old GNU report, bug report. Then people started to talk about it, and it makes how do you feel? It feels like testing, like licking a coin. They don't give a fuck about you actually. Uh, anyway, so yeah, okay. I wanted to show you the today's emacs functions. Emacs functions that works on list. Today, now you have kind of a comprehensive one created by GNU dev. This guy, I don't remember his name offhand, but it's because he created that because the dash. It is because the dash. The dash becomes so popular, and then the GNU started to create this. Now they have it too. Let me show you where. Okay, so it's down list data structures. Okay, then you have, let's see. Okay, sequence list data structures. Let's look at list. Okay, now here's a basic tutorial about list. Then sequence functions. There, let's go back. Should be here. There, sequence functions. Okay, now let me show you the part. You see this list? You see this list? This list 40 items. This list began about 4 years ago. It's written by I don't have the name handy, but he's on Twitter. He's very active, and he's a devout Free Software Foundation believer. Okay, he probably doesn't like me. Okay, but anyway, he created these 40 list functions, kind of in a coherent user interface. This came out because of the dash. They wouldn't. Nobody would say it like but I actually, you can see some of their discussions on the GNU Emacs dev list. So anyway, so that's that. Okay, so I guess am I right, S and T. I really hate them. The Yeah, so the guy Magna also make S and T. Those names are like insult to my eye, to my brain. You know, so when I criticize people, I want to say, I guess he's a nice guy in all ways. There's no, I don't see, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's great. He's doing great things. But it's just this this kind of little things. Not sure how to put it. Anyway, so JavaScript. Okay, so let me finish the comments quickly. I think Melpa is bleeding edge, and there's separate stable repo. Okay, one of the many things Xah is cool at. Company is not allowed. Company is not showing us obsolete for me. Oh, why is that? So, uh, well, my name, there's an interesting story about that. My name in Chinese is this. Okay, that's Chinese. That's pronounced sa, and that means kill. Okay, so Li, this is my first name, Li. Okay, Li Sa, and the name Sa, okay, which is Xah, and that is actually constructed. It's made up, and it is my legal name. But okay, so um, that name was created because of my fascination with symmetry in math. There, okay, you guys can read the article. Okay, so that's the origin kind of my name. Because of the symmetry of the letters XAH, and it is my legal name. Justin, so Visual Studio Code sue me. So with the large libraries like C++, company shows the arguments for the functions. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess I should be, company is actually probably useful. I don't think abbrev can uh, may not totally replace it. May or may not, I don't know. But I just use abbrev myself because it's faster, it's simple. You don't have to install packages, and you can create your own set of completions anytime, and more efficient because you can choose one letter to add two letters. Uh, okay, sometimes I use Collab notebook for Python. Okay, IPython. 选报. So 选报 Telegram. Where are you from? Oh, this one is going 90 minutes. Okay, so let's finish it. Um, snippet can be combined with company. you know, Xah is one of the 四大天王, four huge stars in Chinese community world. No, your description, your this how do you say? That description is incorrect. Your description is incorrect. That is supposed to be the 魔界四大天王。How do you say that? 魔 yeah. 魔界 evil. So the four dark stars, something like that. Anyway, so uh, some like one time some Chinese blog, they just made up this thing. They call me and three other people one of the like one of the kings in the dark side in programming community. But actually, what it means is that each of these four people just have weird. That is actually the force. I mean, that is why this phrase got created, because these people, I know these other three people. I've chatted with them. Like we are weird. That's why. And weird means dramatic. Online usually weird guys. If you are dramatic, you becomes more popular. Your fame. Um, so let's see what else. Hey, I think message is winked. They think so. Anything else? Comments or Shenbao, you are from China. So in China right now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What city? Telegram. What city in China? So I mean, if you okay, so I guess that's it for today. If you have any more questions, just type it. I think that's it. If I missed your questions, just say it. And I will be back tomorrow. Yes, of course. I set out a schedule, didn't I? 10 o'clock for the next 4 or 5 days. You saw my blog, right? Bartholomew. So thank you guys for coming, and I had a great time. If you like my stuff, okay, buy my tutorial. Buy my tutorial. Patreon me, PayPal me. If you want to do that, you know how to find the links. Okay, do that so that I can have a happy life and create more interesting things. Thank you guys. Bye.